Guitar Players Planet. You see it in the papers, you read it every day. The riots and the fires going on in South LA. The muggers and the government, they're all wanting the same thing. They take you for your money in whatever else spring. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. Take me. Guitar Players Planet. 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 Sunny skies, the smell of palm tree air. Looking back, I could never feel fair. The way that music has touched my soul, the way that the South holds its control. But I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back to the land of new. Oh, na 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 na.
And we lost Jason's audio. And it begins. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. over at AstroWorld. First, a small disclaimer, I think we just got Jason back.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. A small disclaimer. Again, we do not affiliate ourselves with any sort of political garb. But I saw the T-shirt behind me, and I just had to buy it because I thought it was funny. So don't take it too seriously, anybody or you guys and politicians out there. But I thought it was kind of cool with the Four Seasons Total Landscaping next to the adult bookstore. You can't beat it. so anyway, so happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Again, this is a time, of course, I hope everybody is staying safe and being being careful with their family gatherings and all that stuff with all this craziness going around. Just be safe, wear a mask. Just because they're family doesn't mean they're safe. You don't know what they're doing either, so just be careful out there. We want all of our lovely viewers out there and everybody else, their families, to be safe. So just please make sure during the holiday, if you're traveling, just do the right thing and come back nice and healthy. So that's all I'll really say about that. But you know what, it wouldn't be a week without having a brain fart. So I had a brain fart this week, a pretty interesting one. About once a year or so, for whatever reason, maybe it's just me being crazy, I like to clean my filters. And I was cleaning my filters, just blowing them off, and I picked one up, put it to the side, put it on a pec pad, and put it on the side. Somehow, some way, I'm imaging and excuse me, and I'm processing my image of the Bubble Nebula. And so I'm processing. I'm like, man, this does not look right. I mean, I did a real quick histogram stretch, and I did an SCNR. And I said, I don't see blues. I'm doing narrowband, so I don't see blues. I don't see any yellows or any sort of different shading of color. Like, what is going on? So I'm going in there and I'm looking at the raw files, and I'm looking. Okay, you know what? Well, H alpha is easy, that's gonna be the brightest one, so that's fine. So I'm sitting there, it's just O3 and S2, and O3 to me always was a little bit brighter than S2 when you're looking at the raw data. Okay, so just remember that that's always true if you have the same amount of data. So that's where the brain fart comes in. So I put everything together and I'm going, and I'm like, man, what's going on? So it turns out that when I put the filters back into my filter wheel, I swapped the O3 and the S2. So my S2 was going in as blue and my O3 was coming in as red. So I was doing like an OHS type palette, which does not work. So finally, I was able to figure it out, and I just moved things around a little bit, and I got everything sorted. So now all of a sudden, I got the right color tones, and the stars don't look like big red bullseyes. So that was my brain fart for today. Just wanted to share everybody's. When you're doing stuff with filters, make sure you put them back in the right spots in your filter wheel. Don't screw up like I did, and you'll be fine.
What did you do?
Hey! There he is. I had to start off with the brain fart of the week. So, so I was cleaning my filters and I swapped the O3 and the S2 by accident. So when I did my sequence, my O3 when I saved it was really S2, and my S2 was really O3. And when I tried to do an SHO palette, it came out OHS. and it did not work out so well in my favor.
Well, it's kind of appropriate. Oh,
That's exactly what it was.
This is probably another reason why I have a one-shot color. I have one filter, and that's all I need.
Yep. I think he just thumbed his nose at us.
Yeah. Oh man! Speaking of filters, I was on
dealing with that red cast with that fake narrowband you got going. And,
yeah. Hey, brother, it works. It works for me.
How you doing, bro?
But good, man. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, man.
Likewise.
We finally are starting to get into the swing of the holiday seasons. I'm sorry I'm late, guys. I had to make a quick run to the Home Depot. I forgot.
I thought you were going to the local store.
No. The wife already had that covered.
Good.
Had that covered, man.
You said make a run. Usually in New York, a run is for alcohol.
Yeah, that's where I jump to.
Yeah, I know, right? But no, I had forgot. I'm getting low on smoker pellets because I smoke all of my I smoke my turkey, so I was getting low, and then Robin, she had mentioned, "Do you have enough pellets?" And I was just like,
nope.
"Yeah, nope."
Nope.
So,
that's why you need to get a real smoker that you don't use pellets, you use wood.
Oh,
and then you just have to go cut down a tree.
Yeah. No. I've got a real smoker, man. I got a Traeger, man. That's a real smoker.
Well, you can just do what I did last year. What was it, 2 years ago? I tried to fry a turkey.
Please don't tell me you did it when it was frozen.
Oh, no. I'm
I was going to say.
No. However, you know, we bought the turkey. We got everything good. I got everything going. I got the 38 quart big thing with the thing that you drop the turkey in, and the whole, you know, I had this crane thing going and all this stuff going because it's only me. It's not like I have another person to hold the other side of the rod.
Yep.
Right.
So, a little cooking tip for any of you guys that want to. Obviously, don't do it when it's frozen because, like Eric said.
That's an explosion waiting to happen.
Yeah, you're done.
It's exciting for a few seconds until you lose your vision.
You'll lose your eyebrows and everything. You'll lose everything. Because what happens, it's not really that it's an explosion, but what happens is that because the frozen turkey is so cold, it overfills either the peanut oil or the vegetable oil, whatever you're cooking in, onto the fire, and then it explodes because that is a flammable liquid.
That is.
There is so many YouTube stuff. Look up exploding turkey on YouTube, and it's all over the place.
It's all over the place. Learn what not to do.
So when you're cooking or frying a turkey, do not do it at 19-degree temperatures.
No.
I tried. A 45-minute job took me about 5.5 hours, and it still wasn't cooked.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yeah, because I can get it up to temperature, but once you put the turkey in, it never recovers.
Yep.
Wow.
Never recovers. You can't get it. You can't get it back up to 350. It won't happen.
Yeah.
I actually had it. I have it on YouTube. It's on YouTube somewhere on my personal channel. I think that I don't promote, but I actually put it on YouTube live because it was so cold. I wanted to watch it. I didn't want anybody like trip over to run into it while I was outside at the front yard.
Yeah,
because I had it all the way at the front of the driveway. So I had I brought my little Mevo camera out and I streamed it out so I could watch it on the TV inside to make sure nobody ran it over. And every once in a while I walked outside with a thermometer and I put the thermometer up to the camera. I said, "Look, it's 19 degrees outside. This ain't working."
Right.
Yeah, my uncle tried.
Oh man.
My uncle tried hardwood smoking a turkey one year for the entire family, and my dad's family is, he's one of 6. So between all of the kids that were there and all the grandkids and stuff that had showed up, there was 40, 45 of us waiting on a 23-pound bird. He started smoking it at about 4 a.m., and by 9 p.m. it still wasn't ready.
Oh my God. My goodness.
Yeah,
no.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. So, no, I fortunately have never come across any of these issues that you guys have talked about. But I've fried my turkey, but I've done it indoors. I bought an indoor fryer. One of the because Butterball makes a indoor fryer. If you guys never seen them, like maybe at Walmart or places like that, and they're pretty big. They can hold up to I think maybe a 20 or 22 pound turkey. And they're huge. They're huge, and so I've done that. I've done it outdoors, but not at the temperatures like you're talking about. Usually, mine would be above, like maybe in the 40s. So I've never had to experience, below freezing.
It was the coldest Thanksgiving in like 10 years.
Wow.
It never gets that cold. I mean, like right now
Okay.
we're normally in the 50s. So I figured,
Right.
maybe the mid 40s.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, like, holy cow! I mean, it was cold, man, and it was windy, which was even worse.
Yeah. Yep.
So I mean, it was 19, but it was really like 10.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really, really, really cold, really cold.
Yeah. See,
Yeah,
I used to kind of frown upon it until I made my first bird with the Reynolds bags.
Okay.
So now I use the Reynolds cooking bag, and you butter the outside skin, you dust the inside with a little bit of flour, seal the bag up, throw it in the oven, and make sure you have enough airspace that it doesn't hit the heating element on the electric oven.
Yeah, so it doesn't blow up. Yep.
2.5 hours, comes out. You let it rest for a good 5-10 minutes. Split it, drain the juices, and skim it for gravy.
Yep.
And your bird's usually on the table. We've got a 13-pound bird. It'll take me 2.5 hours. It'll be on the table in 3.
Okay. Yeah, we've got a 16-pounder here this year, and actually, I'm brining it. I'm doing a wet brine this time.
Okay.
I'm actually brining it. I put it in. I bought the whole brine kit at Walmart. It came with the bag. It came with the whole brine kit and all the seasoning. So, so right now it's submerged in the water with the brine mix because you have to do a little bit of pre-work with the brine mix. You have to get it boiling for 5 minutes or so, and then you put it and then you mix it with a gallon of water, and you let it cool overnight. And then the next day you put your bird in the bag, after you clean it up and, get all the gut, get the gizzards and the neck out, you clean it up, you put it in the bag, and then you pour the brine in, and then you get more cold water and keep pouring it in the bag until the bird's totally submerged pretty much, and you zip it up and then you stick it in a fridge, for, another up to 24 hours. And so I think mine will be in there probably about for maybe 15 hours. So which is fine. An hour, I'll pay an hour a pound. And then you take it out, dry it out, and get ready to cook it. So we'll see how it goes.
You gonna inject it when you go to smoke it, or are you just gonna let it?
That just sounded so wrong.
It came with some extra seasoning, so you have to drizzle it with olive oil, and then you drizzle it with these seasonings, and you also put some in the cavity. But I've also got some butter, some Cajun butter, that Tony Chachere's Cajun butter, which came with the injector. I've got some of that too. So I probably injected a few as well.
I prefer to inject, especially the breasts and the thighs.
Yeah.
Makes a world of difference and much more succulent meat.
Yeah. So I may do that as well, because that worked too. Because I would inject it before I would fry it, and man, it always came out perfect. It was some nice. really good turkey. So
yeah, I do a compound garlic butter that I inject mine.
There you go. That's nice.
There you go.
That's nice. So
you get me hungry, guys. Man. You get me hungry.
I know.
T-minus 12 hours or 24 hours.
Well, so one thing that we did, we didn't. We're not cooking a turkey this year. We ordered out due to the fact that nobody's coming here. So,
nothing wrong with that, man. Trust me.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
We discovered Gold Belly. If you guys don't know what Gold Belly is, I was telling Jason about it. Basically, it's a whole bunch of restaurants all across the country that you could order food from some of the best restaurants around the country, and they will deliver it to you. And it comes with instructions on how to cook it and whatever. So you get like deep dish pizza from Chicago. You get Louisiana ribs or some Cajun pasta from Louisiana. All this kind of stuff you get from different places, and it's really, really, really cool. So,
nice.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing. That, and I just got a whole bunch of DrinkWorks pods for my drink machine. So,
I don't know if you folks on Facebook have seen. I put out a couple of new pictures. Recently I put out a few pures of the Pallades, which is one of my personal all-time favorite targets. I'm sure it is for a lot of people. So yeah, that one, and that was with the 533 and the Rasa. I've taken pictures of the Pallades before, but this is the first time with the 533. And also took recently the Ghost of Cassiopeia, IC63 and IC59, right there next to Gamma Cass, which is the really bright star. And I did that when that was a longer period versus Pallades. Pallades was a night, of I think 2-minute exposures, like I think about 40 of them. But the Ghost is is a bit more challenging because I believe IC59 it is a lot fainter than 63. 63 is a emission nebula that has a lot of hydrogen alpha in it, so it's really red. However, 59, it's much fainter, and it has it's a slightly brighter nebula, and it has quite a bit of O3 in it. So you have a really nice blue tint if you expose long enough. And I did over, I want to say maybe over 100 of 300-second exposures. And then I did close to another 100 of 10-minute exposures. And then put it all together. And it turned out really well. And
Nice.
yeah, so really happy with it. I think those two, as well as I'm going to look through a few others, and I'm still determined I have to, I want to get Orion, but the actual constellation, not just M42. But I want to get the entire constellation, and I have been working on ordering camera lenses, and I've been getting different camera lenses. And I tried out, and I goofed. I purchased a 50 millimeter to use with my adapter, because I've got an EOS adapter for my ZWO, and it doesn't work. It didn't fit. And I was like, what the heck? Turns out that I goofed, and I bought a mirrorless lens instead of just standard SLR. Yeah. So it was much smaller.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, little pancake.
Yeah. It was much smaller to get in, because it doesn't click, it doesn't fit into the adapter. It's just much smaller. So I ended up returning that, and right now, and I actually started doing some reading because I'm planning on using the 294, which is a APS-C sensor, and the lenses are basically manual full frame lenses. And if you purchase a 50 millimeter or any type of a full frame lens and you're using it on an APS-C sensor, you have to take that into consideration, and your focal length is going to be much different than what you expect. Because I believe it was saying on a 50 millimeter, I was reading somewhere that if you use a 50 millimeter lens, full frame lens, with that type of sensor, you're actually probably cutting yourself short, and you're probably actually only going to get maybe 70 millimeter with it because of the sensor. So what I decided to do is, instead of I'm going to get a 35 millimeter, and so I ordered a 35 millimeter. I'm waiting for it, hopefully, to get here sometime next week. But it's a full frame manual, and with that type of a sensor, it'll drop me down to probably close to 55 millimeter, which will still give me a good frame of the entire constellation, including the Bernard's loop. So yeah, it should be. So I'm looking forward to it. Let me just tilt this down a little bit. Jason said tilt it down. So
it's actually for Dan, but
yeah, anything better?
That'll work. Okay, yep, that's good.
Cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward because I don't know about you guys, but I hate the thought of doing mosaics.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I hate the thought of doing mosaics. It's just too time consuming. Just to do all the stitching, even though AstroPixel processor has a really good mosaic stitching integration tool, I just don't want to do days worth of pictures, of images. So that's why I'm going to go with the 35 mil, and I'm sure then with that 294, and then I'll tilt it 90 degrees. So I'll get more of the rectangular is more vertical. The rectangle is more vertical on the sensor. So I'll be able to fit the entire constellation, including the loop. And I might even be able to get a little bit, maybe even be able to squeeze in the Witch's Head nebula in there too, down at the bottom. So we'll see how it goes. Because I don't know if you guys seen, there was Adam Block. He recently released a photograph with using a DSLR, and I believe it was a 50 millimeter in a DSLR, and he took shots of the entire constellation, and they were amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So, it's just that time of year, guys. I mean, Orion's out. You got Pleiades, you got Hyades is out. I want to grab the Hyades as well. I would love to get a shot with this 35 millimeter to get Hyades, Pleiades, and maybe even a California all in one shot. Because I think I could probably fit all three of those all in one shot with a 35 millimeter.
35?
I probably could. Yeah, with a 35, I probably could. So it's and then you've got that though. What is yours as far as your setup, Dan?
So this is something. Well, this is something that I've had for a while, but I've had some issues with it, so I haven't really been using it. I only took one picture so far with it, but when the Comet was around, I don't know. I was using this trying to get the Comet, and I lost the focusing belt. So I had to wait to get a focusing belt, and also this is from Deep Sky Dad. This focuser.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, I went without he makes a 3D printed ring that fits the teeth to the belt. That goes around the focus ring of the camera. I went without that for a while. He's like, "Oh well, you really shouldn't do that because it's going to give you less backlash," and he's right. But whatever the case would be, so this is a QHY 163 color.
Okay.
On a 200L Canon lens with the Altair Astro filter changer here.
Sure.
With the auto guider on top, with the 40 millimeter ZWO with a 120, I think. Yeah. 120 mm on them. And I'm hoping, I mean, it is still 200 millimeters. It's just a little bit smaller than a Red Cat. But it's the picture that I got of the North American Nebula with it. I was very impressed with. So I'm thinking that with the filter slider, if I can get it out now. I don't know why I can't get it out.
So with everything you got there, that's almost like a camera store sponsorship video.
Yeah. Hey. But I got ADM, I got Altair, I got QHY, I got ZWO, and
Radian. And Radian.
No.
Oh, what's your plate?
That's it. This whole thing is an ADM.
That's the ADM bracket.
No, the whole thing is ADM. And this actually rotates. It's a rotator too.
Oh wow!
So I could rotate.
Now, is the rotator from ADM, or did you get that from?
No, the whole thing. He doesn't even make it anymore. The whole thing is from ADM.
Okay.
So the dovetail, the spacer, the ring, the rotator, and the platform is all ADM. Yeah. He doesn't make it anymore. I believe it or not, I think I got his last one back in the summer of last year. It was called the ADM Lisa. And he named it after his wife. I forget what exactly. It's an acronym for something. I forget what exactly.
It does everything.
But yeah, so he was selling it for like 225, and he wasn't getting a lot of response from it, so he stopped making it.
Gotcha.
But it's the only one that I could find that was that solid and that could kind of rotate a little bit. I mean, it only gives you about 90 degrees, but you're able to kind of mess around with it a little bit, kind of frame it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm going to put it on the EQ M35, and see what I get.
Nice.
We'll see what happens. Hopefully, 200 millimeters will definitely not fit the Orion constellation, but
Right.
it will definitely get me a nice part of the Running Man M42 and the Horsehead and Flame all in one. So I think that's what I'm going to try and get with that, and I'll throw in the red casted L enhance, and see what I can get.
Yeah, I've been itching. I got my 60G all set up and got it all ready to go.
Yeah.
And then I've been fighting with my ASI Air and the beta. Spent 2 days, could not get the thing to guide, and it's been guiding just fine. Finally went back to the release software and got some imagery, but with the moon up, and the particular stuff I was trying to image was too close to the pass of the moon, so I was getting too much ambient glow, so I didn't get the color saturations I wanted. So I'm hoping.
So what were you working on?
I was shooting some stuff up near Zenith, trying to get some color in Cassiopeia.
Okay.
But the moon transitioned right through there in the sweet spot of when it was at its highest point. So I was getting just too much glow, even with as much narrowband as I was doing with the Extreme. I was just getting way too much light bleed and getting flares in the lens. So bailed on it. I'm hoping tonight, because I'm actually going to be able to go out, even though I don't have the dew straps yet. I'm going to try imaging the Rosette Nebula.
Nice.
But it doesn't get up high enough for me to start trying to image it until about 9:30 at night here. So I've been playing around, making sure I can get focus and get all the settings correct. Because I've been trying, so far, unsuccessfully, to power the ASI Air through the 70G mount, because it has additional pass-throughs and a separate power port. So you can power the center and be able to power 2 front ports. It'll give you 5 amps pass-through. Okay. And the ASI Air isn't liking it. It's not getting enough power. So I had to order a pass-through DC cable to extend the power up through my umbilical cord to the ASI Air, so that I can keep it powered separately, and it's been more stable on the current release, 1.5. And then tonight I've got, sitting here on my little card, waiting to try the new beta 1.5.3, which is doing some fixes and hopefully a few feature enhancements. A lot of which to do with guiding and adding in some new tracking mounts. The biggest of which they were happy to announce was the Hobum Crux is now going to be supported.
Yep.
So supported, nice.
So for those of people that would jump onto that bandwagon, which is one of the ones I had actually looked at before I jumped on the 70G, because the payload's about the same, but the Hobum Crux is about half the weight and almost a third the size. But still has a 70-pound payload capacity.
Yeah, it's a harmonic drive, but those things aren't cheap.
It was about the same price as the 70G.
Okay.
So I was kind of on the fence, and because it wasn't supported in the ASI Air, I ended up staying with Ioptron and going with the 70G.
Gotcha.
Thing's a beast. But playing with it yesterday for about an hour and a half, just getting it to do go-to slews. And just running it through its paces, have it go to and lock on to a subject, do a plate solve, and track it for a little bit, and then do some adjustments using Sky Gutter or Sky Safari.
That's far.
Yep.
Yeah.
to
Okay.
go ahead and change my positioning. The only thing I wish it would do, and it's hard for it to do with a plate solve, but actually adapt the rotation of the imaging square to the actual orientation.
Orientation. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't do it. So
Yeah.
I wish it
So
would.
we got a thing on YouTube. I believe it was George Lutch asking that um, the Hyades
Yeah.
Yeah.
isn't I guess because it's an asterism, because it's not really doesn't come up on the
Well,
ASIR.
that's an asteroid, correct?
No, it's an
No, I think
asterism.
it's a
Oh.
Mel. It's in the Mel catalog.
Oh,
It
okay.
is. It's Malat, I think 25. I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I told them to try using Alcyone, which I know is a star in the Hyades. Oh, it's not. No, it's not.
No,
No.
no, that's in
That's
Pallades.
in the Pleiades. I changed my
So
stuff.
one thing you can always also try to do is you can go to my favorite planning site, Telescopius, and you can actually look up the Hyades and get.
You want to hop on there for us real quick?
Yeah, here, let me do that for you real quick. Let me just go to Telescopius and let me get it loaded. Okay,
What do you want?
so let me share my screen here. Okay, let me know when you see my screen.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, cool. Let me sign in here. All right, so I'm signing in, and so basically, Telescopius it's a free astronomy planning website, but it's absolutely fantastic. It's a big mix of it's a good mix, I would say, a combination of astronomy.tools and Astrobin, because you can also upload your images here as well. So let's go to Hyades. The Hyades. Yep, and it's Mel 25.
Yep.
Okay. And what's cool about this, it gives you the best time, like when it's at zenith.
Yep.
So like it would be at zenith at 12 o'clock, and even gives you the yearly time about when it's best seen. So here in my area at 10 p.m., it's best seen on just after Christmas. So anyway, here it is. And you can frame everything up in here. And this will also give you right here your right ascension and declination.
Yeah, so you'll
So
be able
you
to
can
put those
actually
in manually.
manually load these into the ASIR. And you can also add all of your astrophotography equipment in here, such as your telescopes, your cameras, even cameras you want to get. Like I'd love to get the 2600 one day, or and get this, maybe get another 1600. A few things,
just
and
hold yours.
your telescopes. Yeah, and then you can then decide on how you want to do this. So, for example, here's my 135, and if I use my 294, and that gives me a rough idea of
How you can
my
frame.
shot and how it's going to be framed. And you can even still go in here and you can crop it. You can even change the position angle. So if I wanted to go to 90 degrees, I can just change this here and then and now, and set it there. So you can do everything here. It's also great for mosaic settings. So if I wanted to do mosaics, I can phone to do a 2x2. I can do a 2x2 here, and I can set my overlap to, if I want to do a 15% overlap, I can do all this stuff, and it gives me my RA and deck. So this is, sorry. So this is really cool and you can copy and download all this stuff, and you can even enter in what the center is. If you want to center each area of your panel, now you can do all that. So.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so no, this is awesome. This is an awesome tool, totally free. But you can also actually sign up and be in like through Patreon and sign up and
Yep.
contribute. So it's definitely a lot of stuff you can do here.
You know what? A cool thing I just found out. Now I wasn't really a user of Telescopius until Eric, you kind of brought it up a couple months back. So I've been playing around with it, and I got an email from them at the last full moon, last new moon, saying, "Hey, here are some targets and things to shoot at new moon at 10 o'clock."
Yeah,
And it just sent me an email automatically.
Yeah,
I
it's in
didn't
your
even
email. Yeah.
So it'll
there's
give
a lot
you
of cool
some,
stuff.
suggested targets, or suggested things to see every month.
Yep, it does.
So which is pretty
that's
cool.
it's really really cool. It's a really good planning website, and it does so much for you. I mean, I'm so glad I found that site, and it's helped me out so much. So check it out if you guys, and if you do frequent it, maybe consider becoming a patron and sign up. I think I contribute like $5 a month. So that can help keep this thing going.
That's
so
cool.
any little bit helps. Any little bit helps.
Very, very, very cool. It's cool stuff.
Yeah.
And so another thing that I received a suggestion from somebody. Actually it was Ron Breacher. We were talking about the color casting of my stars. We were like trying to figure out why I was getting these I was getting weird halos, like red halos on broadband, and I was getting very, very weird. Apparently, the light pollution filter that I was using was giving me some really, really random color casting on the stars, and so I took it out, and sure enough, I just went with the Astrodons, and so the stars are so much better, believe it or not. So right now I'm running with just the Astrodon filters and no light pollution filter right now. So we're gonna see what happens.
Oh wow. Okay. So just your regular RGB.
Yep. Regular RGB. And we'll see. I mean, it was a suggestion to get rid of. You're gonna have to lower your exposure time because of the light pollution that you may or may not have in New York. We have quite a bit. But even with that, even with a 5-minute exposure with no light pollution filter, I'm only at about 60%, saturated on the stars. And so I'm not losing any detail. I'll have some gradients in the background that I'll have to do a little bit more processing with. But other than that, I mean, if I'm getting better color of the stars, I could deal with the gradients later.
Okay.
Guys, look who showed up. Our buddy, Tyler. Let me get his audio turned on here. There he is.
Yeah, I'm here. I muted it since Dan was talking. Background noise to
I had you muted so you didn't come on until we brought you up on screen.
Yeah. What's going on, guys?
Oh, some stuff,
man. What's happening?
Not much. Just dealing with customers and getting everything ready for Turkey Day. That's about it.
Yeah. How's life at Explore Scientific?
It's not too bad. I have an interesting one because I had to ask Eric a question today about the 533, since the one that mainly uses the camera that I've known in the group. We had a customer ask, since he purchased the 165, which is, I think the focal length on that one is 1152, and being f53, he was claiming that the Apo 102 was being better. It's like wrong here. Using the 533 from ZWO, but he was using a gain at 530.
Yeah.
What kind of software are you using, bud? He's like, I'm using SharkCap. And you're using 530 gain? He's like, I'm using the live stack version. He's like, I see the problem already.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, let's get off live stack. Let's go to just start a capture, do 10 frames at 60 seconds.
Yeah.
At minimum 100. I'm not sure. I know, Eric, what did you say you put Unity gain on with that particular camera? Because I don't have
Gain
it.
is 100. Gain is 100. Unity.
You don't experiment with it at all?
I actually don't. I mean, I have played with it, especially when I've done some narrowband. I have cranked it up to 200.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much as high as I've ever gone. I mean, if I've done some test shots, I have maxed it out just to do tests on the ASI Air. But as far as an actual session, the highest I've ever gone is 200. But normally I'm at Unity for everything.
Yeah, and that's where I keep the 2600. Is it? Well, sometimes it's at 0, and if I want to get something out of it, I'll pull it to 100. But I always usually 0 with it. But I promised Eric that I would let him lend the 294 mono.
The mono.
I promised to. I got it. I'm going to get it out to him next week. It'll come set with. You got filters for it, Eric, or no?
I do. I don't. I actually have a few filters. I got some 12 nanometer that I use for my Rasa. So I'll give that a go. So I'll use those.
Well, I mean, if you want, I can send you a full loaded ZWO RGB H alpha 03 and S2s. They're entry level, so I think they're 7 millimeters.
Yeah, 7.
That's fine. That's fine. All I want to do is I just want to mess around with it for a little bit to do just to do some quick SHO. You know.
I mean, I don't have a telescope anyway.
Doing
me any good.
So what are you doing with this? Doing with this 294 mm right now?
Don't the story time. Because
it's all the
before I get mine. So
it's the Eastern fella's problem. He took a wonderful Skywatcher 120 Esprit. I'm like, oh, I gotta have. I mean, I know it's kind of a smack, yes, but you know, there's nothing wrong with trying different things.
I believe they call that research.
Yes. Yes. Research. Yes.
Yeah.
But I also picked up.
No, go ahead, man. Sorry. No, I was going to say no. If those, you don't have to worry about seeing those ZWOs because I'm going to use this on my Rasa.
You got 1 1/4 inch?
No, I got 2 inch.
You got 2 inch.
Yeah, okay. I got 2 inch 12 nanometer. I've got Optilongs, 12-inch nanometer Optilongs. So, so that's why I was saying, don't worry about the filters because I'm just gonna, just do narrowband,
Okay.
And
well then,
that. Yeah.
Just send me your address in Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll get it over to you next week, probably Monday.
Sounds good, brother.
And I'll get you a tracking number and everything.
Yeah. Whenever you can.
Because you're gonna get more use out of it than I am right now.
You know what? The main thing is I want to learn because that's the biggest thing.
And that's the reason why I picked it up. Mm-hmm. But see, I also went and did another stupid thing. It's like
mirrorless.
Mirrorless, but it's
yeah.
You got the dude, and you don't have anything to run that with.
Oh. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I got the Radian Raptor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm just setting this thing up. I got it yesterday. I just now getting a chance to mess with it, but I don't have any actual like telephoto lenses or lenses, which I got to look into to figure out what I want to get. I don't know if I want to go with just a regular Thrifty or Thrifty Nifty or Thrifty 50, or just get maybe a Sigma or a Rokinon 135, like everybody always uses.
Yeah.
I would honestly, especially with that camera, talk about the 50 millimeter. It's going to be kind of the sweet spot for that camera. The 135 is going to do great, but you can pull so much more data out of shooting in 50 and cropping in, especially with the sensor size and pixel pitch of that particular camera. You'll be much happier.
Now,
I also heard.
Is it mirrorless?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you won't. So you have to. Yes, you have to get the correct. Because I've got a 135, but it's just for the SLR. It's the full frame SLR. So you'll have to get.
Well, what mount is it?
It's the EOS. It's an EOS.
Well, I mean,
It's
it's
a
like,
Canon EOS mount.
well, this
It's
for this particular camera, you have to get like RF to EF mount.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the booger about this
It's-
thing.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
all
you
the
have to
mirrorless,
switch it.
though. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter
you
who
have
the
to
But
get
if
mirror
you
is.
look
adapter.
here, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It's an actual shutter
Yep.
in front of the actual sensor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the that's called
It's the mechanical
electronic
shutter.
front curtain. Yeah, mechanical shutter.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I can't wait to experiment with it, and I blame that one on
It's gonna
Trevor
be
Jones and some other people.
Yeah, no, you're getting a Raptor.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the great thing about being in this hobby is you start bonding with other people in different companies, and they can help you out and get some test gear out, try different things. I'm still waiting for Dan to send me an Eagle, but it hasn't happened yet.
There's a long list wanting that, and that's probably about the same as getting that lottery ticket.
Yeah. You got to play it to win it, though.
Absolutely.
You gotta play it to win. You gotta spend money to make money sometimes.
I,
But it's all
I,
good.
I see that Mark Ellis comes online. Should I put my shirt back up for Mark?
Well,
Yeah, put my shirt back up. Put my shirt back up for Mark.
Yeah.
There you go.
we did a disclaimer at the top end, so you'll have to
There
watch
you
the
go,
beginning, Mark. But
That's you, man.
Awesome.
Tyler, circling back to your 533 question, I've had it since pretty much when it launched. It was my first Astro cooled camera, or first Astro camera dedicated. I was initially shooting it at 100 because that was the Unity gain, and got really good images out of it. But then talking with our friend Simon over there in New Zealand, he very quickly pointed out to me that I'm not going to get the definition and detail until I shoot at 0 to get the dynamic range. So in playing around and spending more time, really anything over 100 gain isn't going to really help you. It'll be great for, like Eric said, doing a quick test image to gather data to see where you'll be at with a longer exposure. But the quality isn't going to be there. So you're better off actually shooting at 0 gain and doing the longer exposures.
Yeah.
See, he sent me some test images, and I don't have them with me to show. One was with the double cluster, and his stars were real bloated. I was like, it's either you're out of focus, and then he told me his gain was set to 530. I'm like, why is it high?
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. The well's exploding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that point,
it's-
he'd be better off shooting. If there's a lot of color where he's shooting, and if he's shooting with a narrowband filter, then I'd say shoot at 100. If he's
No, this was no narrowband because there was actual color in the stars. So I think he was just shooting straight out the camera.
Yeah, if he's doing SOC, I'd definitely shoot at 100 gain and nothing higher.
Yeah, and that's why it's like, hey, let's get off the live stack
Yeah.
benefit, maybe, but you're not going to see the detail because he sent me a stacked image. Like, okay, I know that's the crab, but where the hell is it?
Yeah.
Because I can see a little bit, but it's like, where's the rest of it? This thing should be popping.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Right.
He's like, well, I use the live stack features. Like, no, get off of it. It's great for test shots to see what you can.
Yeah.
But do the start your capture, learn to calibrate your frames, stack them in a program software, then you're gonna pop.
Yeah, because
It's just-
once you figure out how to get the capture cadence.
Yeah, the live stack is really good for your EAA. If you're kind of like doing stuff like outreach and you're or to your point, you want to see get an idea of what you're gonna get.
It's a good framing shot.
Yeah, but it's not gonna be even close to what you're gonna get. Sometimes you're not even gonna get color most of the time. So I mean, that's not gonna be a big deal. So EAA. Outreach and stuff like that. You want to put it on a big TV and show your grandkids and your friends coming over if you have people in your house again. Then you could kind of use that. That's a really 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 good tool to do that because it does show a lot better resolution than let's say a Revolution Imager, which is made for EAA. but the resolution of the camera is not as good as probably what you're going to be shooting with normally.
Yeah.
So.
Of course.
And the ASI Air does have a live stack feature that you can it'll take and stretch the images for you, and it'll do it live cumulatively. So as you continue to image, it'll keep adding that data.
Yeah, Shawn kept doing the same thing. Yep.
Yeah, but the unfortunate thing is you really kind of have to have a baseline of knowing what you should be exposing to do a normal night's worth of imaging. So it's not really where you want to start.
Yeah, no, agreed. Yeah, I don't even do live stack personally, so I really can't say much to it. I've never really played with it because it seems to me is that you're working backwards in a way, because you've got to get all your calibration frames set up kind of first, before you can start doing your light frames. So it's almost you're doing everything in reverse. So I've never really bothered with it, so I can't say much about live stacking or anything like that. But yeah, to Dan's point, it would be great, for outreach and EAA. If you want to, show your kids, hey, on your iPad or something, and it's building up, to say, there's M42 or the double cluster or Hercules. Come back, come back in maybe about half hour or an hour, and then look, you get everything. It's almost like it's actually, like not quite what you would do, like what we show on Facebook, but it gets pretty darn close.
Yeah.
So.
But heck, even on just a single capture at 60 seconds, I could get more detail out of it.
Yeah.
Compared to an actual live stack, either with Sharp Cap or an ASI Air. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad feature. I haven't experimented with it enough.
Right.
But
right.
It's one of those double-edged sword type of deals that ASI Air has its valid uses. It would be great for outreach, just for a single set of exposure. Heck, even 10 seconds, depending on your frame or your camera. You can get a whole lot of detail. You can. It's ridiculous what that little sucker can do. And even if it's just 60 seconds or 5 seconds, you can get a whole lot. And I mean, the live stack to me kind of reminds me of that telescope. What is it called? The Unistellar? The real small one.
Oh, the small one. I think another one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it's like a short, smaller tripod. It kind of swings out from the middle, and
it's like $5,000.
It's $5,000 for something. It's like,
well, isn't that the one that the Smithsonian put their name on? The Discovery Channel or something put their name on it.
I'm not sure. I think it's called Unistellar or.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, Unistellar Optics, I believe. Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's like, if I'm going to spend that kind of money, why not just put it towards a good scope and just throw the ASI Air on it?
Yep.
And go on the way and get better. I hate to say better quality pictures.
Yeah.
It is for reach.
Absolutely.
It's like, Lord. I mean, you could buy the scope for
the Stellinia. The Stellinia.
Stellinia. Yeah.
Stellinia.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like $5,000 or $6,000. Oh, it's perfect for outreach. You can shoot it in New York. Oh yeah, I can shoot my telescope with a L enhanced filter or L extreme filter. Hell, there's no damn difference.
No. I mean, in these, I don't know, because I couldn't see myself. That looked too gimmicky for me. I mean, you're spending $4,000 or $5,000 for this thing. It looks like a freaking briefcase or whatever.
Yeah. It's like secret code
really
stuff.
Weird. Yeah, and and then it just flips up it flips up, your scope, and it was just weird. It was just weird for me.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, y'all have any plans or anything this week other than hanging out with family and cooking turkey or eating ham, or Dan's eating 30 different restaurants in one shot?
Yeah.
Hey, I got nothing going on. I mean, this is going to be like the most relaxing Thanksgiving I've probably had in about 20 years. No one's coming over. No one's coming over for dinner. Nobody's coming over for dessert. It's just going to be me and Jen, and that's
Jack Daniels.
Yeah, no, you know what? I'm my next video is going to be on my Jack Daniels canister, because I'm on my last one.
Oh no!
On my last one, it's just a horrible thing. This is like the best drink ever. It's like I had 13 canisters at one point, and like about a month and a half ago, and now I'm down to my last one. Now I got to wait till June till they come out again.
We'll be buying it by the pallet load.
Yeah, well, I probably went through about 30 canisters this summer, so that's 120 drinks. So
dear Lord, man.
Yeah,
Wow.
dude, it's awesome. It's
I
great.
couldn't keep up. I couldn't. No.
Dude, I gotta get my tolerance back up when it was like 20 or 21. You know.
Why? You're gonna feel it in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, the hangover. Listen, the hangovers as you get older just get that much worse. It's just horrible.
Oh yeah, because then your whole body starts to hurt.
Oh my God, you're crawling to the toilet bowl. I mean, it's just horrible. It's just like...
Oh man, that's okay. That's okay. I'll pass. It's rough enough sometimes.
No, I don't drink.
I just don't like being out of. I feel like if I get out of control or something's taking control of me, that's why I don't drink very much. And but I love Jack. Man, I'm a Jack and Coke man. I grew up with that stuff. No, but there you go. So still, but no,
Dan Downs.
Yeah, I know he downs one, and here I am getting my water. But
Jason says
I don't know.
It's not.
Yeah, it's.
What was that?
Yeah,
Jason says it's water. It looks like water.
It's really not.
Sure.
It looks like water, but it's actually it's really just.
It's vodka.
It's really vodka.
See, I keep mine in a flask. You can't tell what it is, but it's just soda.
You can't tell what it is.
From our local soda shop.
So you know what? It's this week. We're approaching full moon this week, or the end of the week.
Mm-hmm.
So the weather has been horrible up here in Northwest Illinois. I mean, it has just been overcast and rain. It's still raining. It's misting right now. But I'm supposed.
And you got all our rain.
Yeah, and I got a lot of it from all over the place. So it's just killer. And so I haven't been able to do anything for weeks. So I just did a whole bunch of post integration and post processing and sending things out. And I was actually messing around and working with Steve Neilsen's
Shawn
Picks Insight. Shawn Neilsen. Shawn. But I was working with Shawn's Picks Insight tutorial. And it's
I saw that. That looks real good on the Pleiades.
Yeah. So it was really, really good. And I'll admit, I reprocessed my M31 just to emulate what he did, and I'll admit I probably overcooked the saturation on that. So my biggest thing right now, and the person commented, is that now that you've got the hang of this, now you need to get the hang of restraint.
Yeah.
So, I was like,
pull back a little.
Comment. You got to pull back a little bit, and sometimes you just don't know. And I'm my worst critic, man. I am my worst critic.
Oh yeah.
And
that's why I don't put a lot of stuff out. My stuff is like, I got a lot of good data, but I don't put a lot of stuff out on, and I really got to do better and I got to be putting them out there. But, like you, I'm sitting there, I'm like, it's just not good enough. It's
right.
not good enough. No.
Yeah. That's why I haven't put anything up for 3 months, because I just haven't gotten anything that I feel like, I've got to show this off. And I've also got like 4 different imaging sequences that I haven't even processed yet. Because I just
doesn't matter how good it is. The whole point is that you're out there doing it.
Yeah. That's true. I'm having a blast doing it, man.
You're just out there doing it, doing what we love. But even if it looks like utter dog crap, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
You got to put it right there, man.
As long as it's better than what I can get with the iPhone, I'm good, right?
Yeah, exactly. If it's better than the iPhone, then it's good. But if you talk about the Google Pixel, then that's a totally different beast. Have you ever seen, some of those images that come off of Google Pixel off of that phone, it just pisses me off how some of those are pretty nice. It just disgusts me how nice some of those are. Coming off of a smartphone. I'm like, you get out of here, dude. But
there's
no,
actually.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say that we actually have a customer on our live broadcast that's all he takes pictures with is a cell phone with a telescope. Yeah. That's it. He will not do any new fandangled camera. Just cell phone, smartphone adapter, and an eyepiece. That's all he'll do.
That's it.
And he gets some great stuff, but it's like, I want to know what you're going to do with a camera. Like, I want to know what you actually do.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, he's putting it out there, even with the phone. So that's what I mean is, if it looks like garbage, just throw it out there. Who cares? What's the worst thing someone's going to that looks like shit?
Well,
okay,
talking about it, still talking about it. It's driving traffic.
Yeah, I got like 5 data sets out there that I haven't even touched. I got the Bubble Nebula, the Wizard, the Elephant Trunk, the California, and that I have all data sets on, and I haven't even touched the processing yet. It's just
I'm gonna need y'all to get off. I got crap weather here like Eric does because we're both in the central states. So y'all with your 30,000 images, what the hell are you waiting for?
I'll tell you what, I'll send you a bunch of my raw data, and you can spend time processing that I don't have right now.
I can't promise you that it's going to be glorious, but it will be done.
That's it. I'm sending it. Give me the FTP site. I'll send it to you tonight.
Go for it. I don't care, man. I will do it. I will do it.
Oh man, it's like I wish I had. It's so nice to have that peer out there now. Though I'm just getting so much more data now that I don't. It's just awesome. The one thing I did have a problem with, though, one thing I did. So I was doing the California Nebula the other night, and I got the manual William Optics rotator on the back.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the Meridian flip was really late that night for whatever reason. I want to say it was probably 1:30 in the morning. And so I passed out. I went to bed. I said, all right, let it run. No problem. It's going to be fine. The Meridian flip's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. I went to bed. Next morning, I go down and I look at my screen and it says the rotator's off by 3.1 degrees. So my tolerance is 3.0.
Oh.
So it canceled the sequence and I didn't get any of the rest of the sequence after 1:30.
Yeah, oh jeez.
So
I've been there.
But I've never had that problem before. I've always been. I guess just that one time I rotated too close to the tolerance of 3.0, and when it flipped, I was off by 0.2 of a degree, and it stopped the entire sequence. And so now I'm just gonna do. I'm gonna stop the sequence. I'm gonna rotate till I get like a degree off. And then let it run, and then reset the sequence and run again, and then go.
Okay.
But I ran about. What was that?
No, go ahead. You were trying to run till 9.
No, I ran about 9 sequences, and I've never had a problem after Meridian flip with that rotator. And just that one time, I guess I just rotated too close to the tolerance, and when it did the Meridian flip, it was just because of the inherent change of the flip. It was off by an extra 0.2 degrees, 0.2 of a degree, and it shut off the whole sequence. It was quite annoying. Yeah.
No, it happens, man. I mean, I've had experiences where after a flip, my EAF would be off. The autofocus, it would do the autofocus, and it would be total crap. I'd end up with donuts, and I don't know, my backslash. Because either the backlash was bad, was off, it was way off, or something. So there's still a lot of things I have to learn, especially when it comes to autofocusing. Terminology I have to understand and put together and figure out. So I know that TJ, he's been using his EAF and he absolutely loves it. I mean, he's got his rig. According, what he's telling me, and we've telling other folks, is he's got his rig locked in. now he's got it in the observatory on the pier. He is, he's able to crank out some nice stuff. So I'm gonna have to give him a call up in New York and just, get some info from him and just bug him, just bug the hell out of him.
Oh yeah, do it.
I'm trying to convince my wife that I want a pier. Like, well, do you want? It's like, I can either do a pier, or I can get a giant observatory in the backyard and have an eyesore. Which do you want the most of? You want an eyesore, or do you want a pier? Because I'm using a Losmandy G11, and the thing's heavy. Hauling it back and forth to the garage.
It is.
Yeah, man.
Those aren't.
I'm a big guy, and it's easy to break down, but it's like taking away imaging time.
Yeah, but just to replicate every night, back and forth.
Yeah, no. I am so done with that. If and or when I move out of this house, one of the making or breaking rules, I need to have enough space in the backyard for an observatory because it's going. I don't even want to put the cover on it anymore. I want a roll-off roof, and I want it fully automated so I can close the roof from inside the house. I'll have a weather station on the top, and if the slightest bit of rain that drops, all of a sudden it shuts down and it closes.
That's what's happening. It does everything, Yeah, it puts the scope back in the park. It tilts it the correct way. It does. He's got the automatic. He's got the garage door opener back, hooked up to it, so it just closes right back up.
It's hooked up to its own internet, man. It closes on its own. Don't even worry about that. But,
that's my dream. I really want to get an observatory because I'd love to do a pier. But with the fact that we get these little freak storms, especially in the middle of the night, where it's going to be clear, no rain, and then all of a sudden, a half-inch of rain will roll in and drop, 40 minutes of constant, decent downpour, and then you're like, oh crap.
Yeah.
That's my current nightmare right now. If that would ever happen, because I look at the weather right before I go to bed, and if it's over 5% rain, I'm like, it's coming in. It's coming in.
See, that's the nice thing with Arizona.
I've got the pier down. I've got the pier downstairs. It's just because I bought an Ioptron pier.
Yep.
So it's downstairs. It's just, and I was really surprised how light it is. It's not heavy at all. I guess you just have to weigh it more down with, filling it in with rock or sand or what have you to get it stable.
Yep.
But I've got it. It was only $400 for the pier.
Wow,
only $400.
That's not bad.
So it's not bad at all. So I'm looking forward to getting it all set up. I'm just right now just sitting down in my basement collecting dust until the thaw for next spring.
Yeah.
And I'll start digging.
And see, you don't have to worry about thaw. You just need to move out here, and we just have a little bit of this morning I woke up, it was 37, and frost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is.
But we don't have.
And but see, the thing is that you guys down over there in the desert, what's the coldest? That's probably the coldest you got.
The coldest,
right?
coldest that I remember it getting is down into the mid-20s.
Okay.
Back in 2012, I think it was. New Year's Day, we got a dusting of snow on the mountains that you could see it, and by 9 o'clock it had all baked off. So
yeah,
I would.
Yeah, your weather, man.
Well, people rag on us because we don't observe daylight savings time, and I always respond to them. I says, well, we don't need to save daylight. We have plenty of it.
Yeah.
Right.
And Drew just, he sold
Drew
his house
just moved.
He's on his way.
He's moving about 3.5, almost 4 hours north of me.
Okay.
Nice.
Portal 2.
He's heading back towards Flagstaff, isn't he?
He's north of Flagstaff, yeah. He's between Flagstaff and the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, he bought a nice plot of land, and they're building a house out there. I saw he's been doing the plans, and of course, once the house was done, then he started on his observatory, so he's all excited because that's part of the entire build.
Of course he is.
But
I've I'm gonna get a Sky Shed. I think I might want to order the kit, the Sky Shed
Yep.
kit. I think it's like
Yep.
what is it, $200 or something like that. Where it'll come with the plans. You get like either a CD or you can download the latest plans, but then they'll send you the jacks for they'll send you the jack stands.
Yep.
Right.
And you can then you just build it yourself off of that. So I'm probably gonna pull the trigger and grab that and just.
Because there's another kit that gives you all the everything, the tools and all. It's not $200 though.
No. That one where it gives you everything, all the material, like you pick out, the color of the steel roof and all that stuff. Yeah, some of those run about $5,000. Yeah, but it depends on the size because it depends on the size you get.
Yep.
Yeah, because I was interested in getting like a 8x10, like an 8x10 size, with a steel roof, and they would supply everything for you.
Yeah.
And it was about $5,000, a little bit like 5,500 Canadian because they're in Canada, so they were traded. So it was all the Canadian dollars. So it's a little bit less So it's a little bit less.
Why don't you go with the pulsar domes?
I don't want to personally. I don't want a dome. The reason why I don't want a dome is I've heard issues like if say you have the next dome or those types, is that there's an issue with you can't get all the way to zenith.
Well, I know
it depends on the shutter.
It depends on the dome. It depends on the dome.
It depends on pulsar. Go ahead. Sorry. You know about pulsar.
Oh, sorry. Pulsar is actually redoing their whole shed lineup. Steve in the UK is supposed to be renovating to where it's more lightweight, but still sturdy. And he's also working on the shutter to where it opens up a little bit past zenith as well.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's something to look at. I mean, if you're looking to getting one, possibly. Plus, I can help y'all out with the deal. Just saying.
When I move, I'll call you.
Can get y'all a deal. And Steve's also what you doing? What?
There was other.
Are we happy?
Yeah.
Mommy?
Yeah. So, but no, he can actually get it to where it's automated as well.
Nice.
That's
what I want. I would love to figure out. Yeah, I want everything automated. Where I just need to get in there, point to my targets, get things set up, and then I can just sit in there, have a beer or whatever, just chill out, watch it do its thing. And then when you get, whatever, whatever, and just chill out for a little bit, and then go inside and let it do. And when it's done, it closes up, it does everything, and all you got to do is go back and grab the data, pull it off my network, and then I'm good.
That's it. Nice. You run a Cat 5 cable on the ground, and then or Cat 6, and then you just run right into your house.
Yep, that's it. That's exactly it. Because that's basically what I do right now. Is I'm running a Cat 6 cable right now. I haven't buried it yet, but it's just right from the ASI Air, and I run it right into my house into a power line Ethernet connection.
Yep.
And I'm getting gigabit speed, so I'm all good.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Tyler stepped away for a minute, so.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I'm looking at the weather because I want to see what's going on because I think it's a whole load of garbage. Tomorrow night looks good. It's Thanksgiving. We have
Of course,
it's like it's meant to be. So we'll look at clear outside and see what it's going to say for. I think we've actually got pretty good seeing. All zeros right now for Mesa.
Yeah, I'm good for tomorrow. I guess I'll do some work tomorrow night.
Good tomorrow. I'm good Friday. Good Saturday. Good Sunday. The only problem we got is full illumination of the dang moon.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Sunday, 100%.
It's got to do some narrowband. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Saturday
I've got
looks
narrowband.
good. Sunday looks good, and then it's garbage.
I'm looking good all the way out till Tuesday.
Nah, shut your mouth.
Whatever.
God, so grumpy.
Oh, they just hate me because I'm a Portal 6 out here in the desert, and I have...
I'm a Portal 5, 6.
I'm a 5. It's just you got the weather, though.
And where are you at, Tyler?
Big number 9.
Tyler, you said you're in the Midwest area. Where are you at?
I'm in Arkansas.
Arkansas, okay.
I'm in the northwest little corner.
Okay, you're at headquarters.
Yeah.
That's according to Clear Outside. I'm actually a Portal 8. You can't see that, but Portal 8. But I know I'm
monochrome.
What? I try
Thank
not
God
to.
you shoot monochrome.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Portal 6.
It's orange. It's not white. I'm not used to that. That's the New York's just horrible.
I'm trying to decide on the target for this week because I've got Friday and Saturday are gonna be my only clear nights for like, I don't know, probably for another week or two.
Shooting the Rasa again?
Yeah, I usually shoot the Rasa. That's my main scope. But I am actually going to once the Rosette gets a little it's a little air, I want to start getting deeper into the nebulae, and I think I've talked about this before, guys. Is that I really want to get deeper in, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to eventually get an RC, get a Ritchie Cretan, because I want that longer focal length to really get into nebulae and get into the gases and get into the experiment and get that type of data. I mean, having the overall structure is awesome, but to get really into it and, with a narrow band, I don't know how that is one reason why I think I would want to look at doing narrowband at some point again, is because to get into the nebulae and the nebulosity itself and to get that type of that data with those gases, I think it comes out a lot better, of course, with having, a mono camera. But because, for example, there are so many different I think there's one called the Little Fox Nebula, but I think it's near the Cone Nebula. It's not too far from the Cone Nebula. And just imagine just getting deeper into the nebulosity and getting this stuff and looking at the Rosette, because there's a small star cluster in the middle of the Rosette Nebula.
Yeah,
imagine grabbing that.
Hoping to chase after a little bit tonight with the Explore Scientific 102 ED with the flattener on it. So I'm at 700 millimeter. So I'm hoping to be able to get Rosette because it just barely fits in frame with my 2600.
Okay.
So
so just imagine that with like I've got a 127 and it's just under 1,000 millimeter. It's like a 980. Yeah. But to get to the heart of the Rosette, man, that would be awesome. Just like to get into the heart of, like, say, the tadpole. Yeah. Looking at, getting those would be the ones that would be so much fun to have. And to get that data would be ideal. And then to put it all together and to get it off of a monochrome would be nice. But I'm gonna, I've got my one-shot colors. I'm not gonna get rid of them. I'm gonna keep using them, and I'm gonna master them. I want to master the hell out of these cameras, so I can get as good as I can with these. That when I go to monochrome, it's gonna be like, why did I have to go to monochrome? I get
You're gonna want to go to
stuff
monochrome
with the one shot. No, I love my one-shot colors because the convenience. One shot, boom, I'm done.
Simple.
It's simple, and me, it's simple. I don't like Oh, Dan, you're used to it. Me, I'm not. Having this entire channel, having this entire sequence of my R, my G, my B, or my S, my H, my O. I'm like, good Lord, just shoot me.
Hey, I'm used to it. I like it. I think it comes out good.
I said, you're used to it.
Well, and that's where I give Dan props, because he's in an area that he has to really plan, and you've got to have something like Sequence Generator that's going to allow you to, I've only got 10 of the 30 shots that I need for this filter on this target.
Right.
So you've got to spend a week or a month gathering all the data you need to be able to pull the image. That's a lot of patience, man.
No,
depending on seeing and
with the peer out now, I mean, I could get 30 hours in 4 nights. You know what I mean? As long as I'm using that one, just imaging that one object the whole night.
Yeah.
But that being said, I mean, we haven't. It used to be like, I mean, you look at the Heart Nebula that I made. That I finished in June, whatever it was. That was 26.2 hours of data taken from October to April.
Yeah.
And that's the only object that I imaged. And that was before the pier. So I was driving out to a darker sky. I was setting up every night and getting 2 or 3 or maybe 4 hours a night and then driving home.
Right.
And it was torture. That's why it took so long to get that 26 hours, is because drive to the beach, set up, do everything, calibrate the guide scope, do all this kind of stuff. And it was just literally like I'd be out like 6-7 hours, but I'm only getting 4 hours worth of data. But now I sit there and I set up. It takes me 5 minutes to put my telescope on the pier.
Yep.
Slap it up there. I come inside, set my sequence, go outside to change the rotator, come back inside, and that's it. I'm done. And it just goes.
Yeah. Having that pier is really nice. Having that pier is really nice because you don't have to worry about polar aligning or doing anything else anymore. If you have to polar align, you do it like maybe once or twice a year. Just to do a double shot.
I'm still not that comfortable with it yet. I do it like once a month still, just because I do take the telescope off all the time. And I always think that taking it off and putting it back on kind of shifts things just a little bit, no matter how tight you are. But
right.
So I do it once a month. I try and do it the first week of every month.
That's
there's a difference between you two and me and Jason. I think, Jason, you may correct me if I'm wrong, but you have kids, correct? Still running around the house?
Yep.
Yeah, I have a 3-year-old and 9-year-old.
I'm the only one without kids here.
Yeah, but see, they have younger kids.
Eric's kids are older.
Younger kids.
Yeah, Eric's kids won't mess with the pier.
Yeah,
run
Eric's kids
Fisher Price car into it.
Or try and climb it like a tree.
Yeah.
My kids, I'm like, nah. They're teenagers, basically. Teenagers, they don't want to get into dad's stuff. They're too busy playing with their own crap. On their phones or watching YouTube or video games. They don't give a crap about what dad's doing until I get the picture out. And then they say, ooh, that's nice. And walk away.
Yep. Well, so that's the thing I'm fighting with right now.
Daddy, that's cool. You're a nerd.
Because the thing that you guys all don't have to deal with is we do seasonal grass here. So we're putting down our winter lawns right now because it's finally below 100 degrees. So
I just got Bermuda. It'll handle it.
Well, we do Bermuda during the summers, but it's so scratchy, it's not fun to walk in during the winters. So we put in
we wear shoes.
Yeah, right. But so we're getting our winter grass in right now, so I can't walk on the grass to go set the pier up because I'll kill all the grass. Pacing back and forth out and resetting the pier and the scope. And so I have moved it over to my patio, which has now pissed off the 4-year-old because she now has a quarter less of the patio to go turn her little plastic car around. So she's, Daddy, move your scope. I need to drive.
That's funny.
Just go on the grass, honey. Just go on.
She knows better because I turned the hose on her and she doesn't like it because it's cold.
Yeah,
That's fun.
we just have Bermuda, and it'll just eat 120 degrees, and it's like, okay, I want more, blah blah blah. Then I just let it die.
Yeah.
And I treat it, but it's like I'm not putting fescue in my yard.
Yeah, I really want to do AstroTurf. It's just a matter of being unemployed for the last 8 months. Doesn't really bode well for that.
This thing costs a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could just scorch it and be done. Just have a desert, just rocks. Just rocks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're in
you've got a
Arizona.
kid.
You're perfect.
Go
You got
get
kids.
pine needles. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, right.
Come on, I lived in Savannah. I lived in Savannah for 2 years, and I never saw so much people putting pine needles as like their lawn in my life.
Yep.
There are pine needles all over the place. I'm like, that's not a lawn. What is this? Where's the green? He's like, you pay for the water. I said, I'll pay for the water. Just give me some green grass. It's like pine needles and rocks. I mean, like, that's okay, kid. Just don't worry about it. Don't play in the grass. Don't play in the dirt. It's all right. Don't worry about it.
I remember the big drought that we had up in the Midwest, Chicago, Ohio, and Michigan got just rocked one year, and we were on severe drought, water restrictions, the whole 9 yards, and people were spinning up businesses painting your lawn. They come out with spray, like the house paint sprayers, and they literally paint your dirt green, so that from the street it looked like you had grass.
Now you got green dirt.
Yep. Then you got green dirt. And you had to come out every 2 months and reapply paint.
I remember that.
That's ridiculous.
That was. I actually saw that. Yeah, in Illinois, and people were actually doing that. They were spray painting.
Yeah, it was the early 2000s.
Yeah, I remember that.
No
Like, are you
that's
serious?
I can't.
I mean,
Like,
and
are
people
you
spun up
serious?
entire businesses doing this. I mean, God bless people for being resourceful. But
Yeah. So it's right now with having I've got a tri-pier, and the tri-pier is great. It really is. It's the best of both worlds, but I still have to polar line it, all the time.
Yep.
and that's what I'm fighting with my. I was seeing it a lot with my CEM 40, but I was hoping it would go away with the 70, and it didn't. Even though you tell it to go home, the home is still kind of a relative position. It's not an absolute. It's been pretty good the last 2-3 times I've tried it. It's been at roughly the same spot, but I also haven't rebalanced the scope or moved anything drastically because I've left it out there. I haven't been pulling the scope in because it's only getting up into the 80s right now, so I just throw a bag over it and pull it off at night when I go to image. But, I've got a polar line every night. And even on the tri-pier, when things haven't really moved a ton, I still have to make adjustments.
Yep. Yeah, sure.
Um,
And that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Even if you don't move it, it's gonna move. Something's gonna be messed up. The readings are gonna be a little different.
Yep.
Your seeing is gonna be a little different if you're using either a pole master or if you're using a sharp cap for the polar alignment routine that it has. The readings change.
All of my polar alignment is all through the PA on the ASI Air.
Okay.
Initially, with the CEM 40, I used the iPolar that it came with, hooked it up to the laptop, ran the software, did the alignment, and physically moved the mount to get it instead of moving the head. So I moved the tri-pier legs to get it angled correctly and get the, dial everything in, get it where it wanted. Then I ended up running the ASI Air routine, and it was needing to move back. It wasn't quite exactly where it wanted it. So even just the difference between the mount mounted at 0 position with everything and what iPolar said the mount should be seeing versus what ASI Air said it was seeing, I went with what ASI Air is seeing because that's what's driving all the imaging. And
Probably what's
it's
screwing
gonna,
up the guide.
Well, and I don't.
I'm just kidding.
Well, but I have it do all the plate solving and everything anyways. So
Yeah.
that's the common denominator, I'm going to default to whatever it says because it's the one doing all the heavy lifting.
Yeah,
absolutely.
See, I've always been curious whether it's Sharp Cap, Pullmaster, ASI Air, how far off any three of those, or the iPolar, or the what is it, the 70G that's got the guider in it now?
Yeah, the iGuider.
Yep.
I've always been curious which one is better. I mean, I like Sharp Cap if it's used. Same thing with the ZWOs or the ASI Air. It's extremely to use. But I've always been curious which one's possibly going to be more bang for your buck and give you better accuracy.
Yeah.
Compared to all the other ones. Because I use Pullmaster, I've used Sharp Cap, I've used the Air. It's like they all get me pretty relatively close, but
yeah.
No.
You know,
I mean, I'm under.
Then you got to think about how accurate you really need to be with your guiding. I mean, if you got a 70G who's super accurate guiding, then you got a little bit more tolerance to your polar alignment that you can kind of be a little bit more off than, let's say, you're using an EQM 35, which is nothing, and as far you're not getting close to the tracking precision that you're getting from a 70G.
Right.
So you got to be more dead on with your polar alignment with this than you are with his mount.
Well, and so that was the one thing I was kind of playing with the other day, because when I could not get the guiding to work, I just killed the guiding camera in settings and just shut it off. And just to see what the mount could do, I started at 60 seconds and went up 60, 120, 180, 300. I got to 300-second exposures before I started seeing striation in the stars.
Well, there
with
you
no
go.
guiding.
Nice. That's just a testament to the mount. I mean, your polar alignment was probably pretty good, but your mount.
Yeah, I was sub 30 seconds on my polar alignment. So I felt pretty good about that. That's usually where I try to get is sub 30. On a good day, clear seeing, I'll get it to sub 20, but I never get it dead on. But being able to get to a 300-second exposure, granted, when I took and blinked everything and ran it through just a quick commiserate, you can see where there's drift between the different images, but the stars are sharp. There's a little bit of fuzz at 300 seconds, but backed it off to 180 and ran another night of sequencing, just same image, didn't really care about the data, just wanted to physically see what it could do. And I was shocked at being able to stack. And I mean, you can see where it had to really orbit and fix all of that. So I had to crop everything in to get it into the sweet spot to get the offset cropped out. But I was damn shocked at what that thing did with no guider.
Wow.
Like you say, man, it's all about the mount.
Yep.
It's all about the mount. So, with this weekend, I've got to decide on, since it is, I think it's like 90, it's almost full. It's like 96 or 98% illuminated, something like that.
It'll be 100% on Sunday.
Yeah. So, not a lot of choices, but I've got 2 nights, so I'm going to probably do some sort of narrowband. I haven't decided on what yet.
I'll probably
I have been looking at the Cone Nebula, though.
Yeah.
Eric, what part of the skies can you see where you're located?
I'm pretty fortunate. I can see all of the north. I face... I'm in a subdivision, like a yearly young subdivision, so the trees aren't very mature. So for the most part, I can get north perfect, no problems there. I do have a large tree to the east that I have to wait for it to move off a little bit closer to the south, but then I can start seeing all of my objects there, and I can anything above 20, say 25, 23 to 25 degrees in the south, I can get it. And the west, I'm about the same. I have a neighbor who has some more mature oaks and stuff like that, so I can't get a lot out of the west. But the north and the south, I can do really, north and south, I can get really good. So, which is fine because everything travels either way anyway. So eventually it's going to come that way, and I'm gonna grab it. So it's good. It's good. So it's just now just a matter of choosing and and making sure I have the right elevation, as far as the how high I can get it, because anything below, like I say, below 23, maybe something like 25, 23 degrees to the south, forget about it. I mean, the houses block it all. So, but north, I can get whatever I want in the north.
Yeah, it's kind of like me. I mean, I live in a kind of a young neighborhood, no trees, but I do deal with a lot of houses. And I can see perfectly to the north, east, clear shot. I mean, other than the house, I got to wait probably 15 degrees before it clears the neighbor house behind me.
Yeah.
And then I can see a bit to the south. But yeah, so I mean, I'm kind of limited. I can't see to the west because of my house. And it's like, do I want to go to the dark side, or do I just want to just sit in the backyard and comfort my own home, drink a beer, not have anything to worry about?
Yes. Yes. I would. You know what? There are times where I go back and forth. Like, do I want to go to a dark site? Because there are some dark sites. Maybe like 30, 40 minutes out. Something like that. But do I want to pack up everything? Do I want to pack up the Rasa? And I'm not. And my only mount that I would be comfortable even using with my Rasa is my 60. So I would have to pack everything up, because I'm not using my AVX on that thing. You can forget about it.
Well, and at that point, your printer need a generator to power the dang thing.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I mean, I was thinking about getting one of the StarTank Lithium Pros.
Yep.
And looking into getting something like that, or just get a marine battery. And with a and go that route, but just packing all that stuff up and to get, and for what, at one night, if I'm lucky to get, if I'm lucky enough to get everything I need, one night, and then have to do it all over again. No. So right now, I stay in the backyard 100% of the time, and it's all good. It's all good.
Sounds like you need to get an RV.
I have one actually. I have one, and I have one, and I have taken the AVX and my White Cat and my Rokinon. I have taken those to my campground, and that's where I got Ro Fuyuki. I got Ro there. Because there was nothing, where I was facing. North, it was the campground, and everybody, they're drinking, they've got their fires going, they've got their lights from their campers, but to the south is nothing but farmland. So I was hitting everything from the south, and I'm having a blast. It was all good, all I had to do with the north was just pull the line. And then everything else, I was hitting the south. I was all over Sagittarius. So yeah, it's gonna so going to and getting stuff in my camper. Yeah, I can do that. I've got a fifth wheel. I can go and take it somewhere. I'll go over have the Jasons. And,
yeah, the only problem is for my place, you can't shoot south.
Yeah,
you can shoot northeast and west, just about everything over about 20 degrees, ideally over 30 because of the heat convection.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't normally shoot anything below 30 degrees.
Okay. Yeah,
because I'm a 2-story surrounded by basically 1-stories. I do have one 2-story to the northeast of me, but they're set forward enough on the lot that it really doesn't affect my seeing a whole lot. So again, most everything for me is over 30 degrees anyways, which is why I'm waiting until 9:30 at night to be starting on the rosette, because it's just risen for me here. but it's only at like about 5 degrees above elevation, so I got to give it another hour to get up to about 25 before I can start getting focus on it and getting the sequence set up. So it'll be 10 o'clock before I get first lights on it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But I'll image it all the way to 5 a.m.
Yep.
What about you, Dan? What do you because you're in the middle of Long Island and everything, so you've got. I know you did something with Stellarium where you took pictures of your entire area of your house and you put it into Stellarium.
I was playing with it. I think it was. Let's see. Do I have it? Yeah, I got it right here. I'll show it to you real quick. And the depth is actually pretty decent. I mean, but you'll see what I got. I got trees, houses, telephone lines. I mean, it's a big mess. You think I'm kidding? I got a telephone line. Like I got to get rid of some.
No, I see it. It's just like how do you image with all that stuff?
Well, you know what the scary thing is that the shadows of the telephone lines get dithered out. They do. They get dithered out. It's wild. Why is this thing go away? Okay, so this is Stellarium.
Yep.
And that's this is basically I didn't do this right. Actually, right now the pier is over here, so I got to do this a little bit over again. The pier is back here by this bird bath.
Yeah.
So I did this by the side of my house. So the depth is a little bit off by now, but you could see. Here's my north. I got everything in the north. I'm good in the north.
Yep.
The northwest, because my pier is over here now, so that changes the depth here. So I got to be above about 30 degrees here to get over this tree.
Your neighbor doesn't need that tree.
I want to get rid of that tree so bad. But in the west,
it's not hard. Just cut the damn thing.
I got all this in the west. All this when it gets over the house. And then that's it. That's what it looks like. And I was able to import this into Stellarium, so I got a real idea of what I could see past the houses.
You know how to get rid of those power lines, Dan?
Cut them down.
Go to solar.
You know what? That'd be nice, but you see these power lines? They go to this house.
Yeah.
Well, get your neighbor to go to solar. It's even better. It's out of his.
Yeah, get your neighbor.
These 3 power lines right here don't even affect my viewing, and these are the ones that go to my house. These 3 here. It's these 3 right here. This top one is right in the way of the North Star sometimes. Right there. So I'm redoing polar alignment a little bit. And if you see my pier, because my pier goes pretty high. I mean, I literally I got a foot of a concrete block here, and then I got the pier, which is about 3.5 feet, and then I got the head, and then I got the dovetail, and then I got on top of that the telescope. So I mean, it gets up pretty high. I'm probably it's taller than me. I'll tell you that right now. But this was the best place to kind of see everything in my backyard because I'll get Orion when it rises over here, and it comes across right there. I'll get this whole east area here as it comes across. So that's it. That's my thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
I could never do.
Like I said, guys, eventually I'm going to get to New Mexico, and and not have to worry about any of this.
Well, then you got to worry about the hot air balloons taking off and the.
No, I'm gonna head over. I'm gonna head south. I'm gonna head southeast, heading over towards Cloudcroft. It'll be like in the mountains or something somewhere. Maybe that valley area.
I'm headed somewhere like North Carolina. That's where I'm headed.
Yeah, you're headed to the Carolinas.
Let's see. The Carolinas have
New York, Florida. So
the Carolinas have the issue though of all the hurricanes keep hitting. I had aunt and uncle that moved there thinking it was going to be great because they had visited so many times. And they didn't directly get wiped out by the hurricanes coming through, but they had storm damage from it, trees coming down and
you
things
know
like
what?
that.
No matter where you move, you're gonna have some sort of natural craziness going on. Whether that's 40 inches of snow in the Northeast, or you got the crazy Tasmanian dust storms out where you live, and
They only happen every 3 years.
mudslides in California, or the 4 o'clock thunderstorm over in Florida. I mean,
Yeah.
so you're gonna have something going on somewhere. I don't know what happens in Arkansas. I've never been there, so I mean, so
Not much.
Just tornadoes during tornado season. That's about it.
you're in Tornado Alley, right?
Yeah.
So you got crazy tornadoes. I mean, so I mean,
Oklahoma gets it more than we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what, and I'm looking to go to the Charlotte area, so it's a little bit more inland than than where the hurricanes kind of bounce off somewhere. But who knows? We'll see. We're in the boat just like everybody else, waiting for COVID to end before we start making those plans. So
good luck on that one there, bud.
Yeah, well, or at least the vaccine comes out so I could actually take a mask off. Yeah, well,
I think we're going to be the next China. It's inevitable at this point. You'll probably be having to wear masks, or you'll be sanctioned for God knows how much money, and blah blah. Hopefully they don't force you to take the vaccine, but I can kind of see it coming because they want to get rid of it. But it's like, want to.
That's the hard conversation I was having with my wife today. She, because the nature of my job, I travel for a living, so I don't really have a whole lot of option. I have to get vaccinated because I'm willing to bet probably 60 to 70% of my client base are going to go, that's going to be part of that new questionnaire. Have you been vaccinated? Can you travel?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, if it does case, and just tell your employer or whoever it may be, it's like, I expect a little bit more money.
I will probably, depending on how the industry bounces back, be charging adequately for my skill set, which will include some of that. I have a pretty healthy day rate as it is, so in my industry I am a bit of a SEAL team, so I'm usually either mopping up somebody else's mess or coming in because the previous tenant of my seat didn't live up to the expectations. So I am there to unstick it or to pound a square peg through a round hole.
We call that the military foobard.
Yeah.
Foobard.
My job is to defoobar.
Yeah, defoobar. Yeah, but I mean, hell, if I was still in the service, I wouldn't have a choice. I'd have to line up in a cattle prod. There you go. Great.
Yep.
Pretty much. Experiment. Here's your guinea pig shot. It's like, oh, God, no.
Pretty much.
No.
I know how that is.
So
get the gun out. Get the shotgun.
that stuff hurt back then. Jeez.
How long you been out, Tyler?
I've been out for a long time. 10 years.
Okay.
So I've been out for a while. But yeah, I still remember it was yesterday. It's nuts. The peanut called it the peanut butter shot, but it was every cylinder known to man shoved in a big ass 18 gauge needle or 20 gauge needle. Hold it, private. Keep it warm. It's like, oh God, no. Blood's going into your butt. It's like, ugh.
And we used to. I don't know how it was 10 years ago, but when I first started out, it was the guns where it was like a pressure, like
little pressure shot,
like pressure shot. Just high, like aerosol. And it ends up being like you're getting stung by a bee.
Yeah, and then 2 days later, it's like, oh God, that hurts.
It hurts. I know. It would catch up with you like 2 days later. I had this huge welt on your arm. Like, what the?
But see, the difference between when I went and you went, Eric, is you got physically touched.
Yeah.
Touched. Like when I basic, they stopped it at that point. It was like because there was a and where our latrine was or latrine, there was a big giant hole that's been patched. You could tell it was a patch job because there wasn't a door at one point. And it's like, Sergeant. It's like a private happened. It's like,
Yeah. That's when they changed a lot. They changed. Yeah, we had to settle down here. But no, like, and then what was it? Mark just mentioned. Yeah, I agree with Mark. I haven't. Those hydro needles. If you jerked, they cut you. And Mark just mentioned that that happened to him. I don't know how many times I've seen that happen to guys. It never happened to me, but they would jerk, and because it's such a high pressure shot that stream of water it's like a laser. It basically cuts you if you move. So and then they have to go and that touch you the other arm. Give you your shot, and then you get a huge piece of gauze on the other one because now you're dripping half your.
And then it's time for PT.
Blood all over the place. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's okay. So no,
you got an open wound. Perfect time for the mud pit.
Yep, that's pretty much it. Yes, mud will take care of that.
Rub some dirt in it. You'll be fine. No, we had. Way off topic. We had a guy send in his 208 Newtonian.
All night, so don't worry about it.
No, this is actually astrophotography related. Believe it or not. A guy sent in. He was complaining that I'm not going to say what scope or whatever. He was complaining that the secondary was too big for this particular scope. I'm like, how do you come to that conclusion that a secondary is getting in the way of your image? Because he had a lot of star flare coming off his star. I was like, okay, how is your orientation with the scope on the Newtonian? Are you pointing it at a 45-degree angle? Is it pointing straight down? You're getting sag somewhere because either the draw tube's all the way in, you're using the wrong coma corrector, your spacing's off on the coma corrector, or you don't know what the hell you're doing. One of those options. He turned out he was using the Botter, was it MPCC3?
Yep.
Okay.
Coma corrector, but he wasn't using the. He wasn't using that little bitty. What is it? Retainer ring.
Yeah.
But he wasn't, and he was going too far in, so he was going past the focal tube, and it was getting in the way of the actual shot of the image. So he sent it to us because he's like, I don't know what's going on. This thing's not working right. And we always work on random stuff. And me being the only photographer in the group at work, it's like, I'm going to need y'all to step up here and help out because I can't be the only guy doing this crap. Because I have to answer all the questions that are astrophotography related. It's like, I don't know half this stuff, guys. You're going to have to help me here. So I set up we have an artificial star for a control test, and I'm sitting here looking at it. Secondary was bent, as he says he's collimated. He said it was perfect collimation. I'm like, looking at this, and I'm looking at this, I'm like, the secondary's bent. It's like it's canted off in the opposite direction where it needs to be.
Oh, jeez.
Fix that. Then I check collimation again, way off, obviously. So I fixed the collimation, and then I noted because I didn't know he would never tell me what camera he was using, so I just had to use the QHY 168, which is a APS-C size sensor, and I threw in a coma corrector, our coma corrector, threw it all in, could watch the focuser tube just drop. Like, there's half an issue already. So I sit there and rotate the whole tube about 45 degrees where everything's pointed down. Everything went away. I took a bunch of cell phone pictures of everything, and I loaded up SharpCap on my computer. It's like, here's some pictures of the artificial star. It's like, took some more pictures, defocused it, look all the centric rings, everything's collimated just so you don't complain about it. Rack it back in, zoom it in. It's like, no flaring, no nothing. He's like, can't wait to test it out. can you send it without the secondary in it? Yeah, I'm gonna do that for you. The thing what I'm gonna have an issue with is once I get all this work and I did all this work for him, he's like, still doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, guy, your coma corrector. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. It's like some of these guys are just, they read what they read and then they're set on it. They're set. They don't want to experiment. They want someone else to do the work for them. And I can understand why everybody in our industry, or just some of us, like mentors, just get fed up with it, because none of these kids or adults want to actually read and put in the work.
Right.
They won't just say, here's your answer. Go away. Just leave me be.
Yep.
So I've got the ES102 carbon fiber, and love it. But when I initially got it, I was having issue with tadpoles.
Mm-hmm.
And I had initially bought it with the flattener, the Explore Scientific flattener.
Yeah.
So finally I got, Simon talked me through taking the flattener out of it. Let's take pictures without the flattener in there. So I had to redo my spacing to get everything. So it went, took a bunch of images, sent it off to him. He's like, flattener's bad. I'm like, okay, how did we come to that conclusion? Because I don't understand, because, you know, first scope, or first big scope and whatnot. So he walks me through everything on the phone with one of your tech support guys, whose name I won't mention out of courtesy, but extremely patient gentleman, and he walked through everything with me. He did finally get my flattener back and did verify that, yes, it was bad. Credited me back the money, and I ended up switching over to a different product, a competing product. Even he said that would be better than what I was working with. And I absolutely love the scope now, but it was the patience with the support team over there at ES was phenomenal, in helping me work through that and understanding and educating me in making sure I understood why it was doing what it was doing and why it didn't quite work.
I mean, it has been brought to everybody's attention that the current field flatteners that we do have are not 55 millimeters.
Nope.
No, they're not.
So, they're not. They're not.
That's been well documented right now.
Yeah. Do not repeat this.
Should I kill the record?
No record. We can't. I'm currently testing different products to see what we can do to alleviate and fix that issue. Either going somewhere else with the optics, just trying different things out. I just need clear skies. Dan, quit yawning. It's rude.
It's been a long week, brother. Sorry.
Well, Tyler.
Oh,
I'd really love to get you out here and have you spend some time with the boys over at Starzona down in Tucson.
Yeah.
They have some stuff that they're working on or wanting to work on that might behoove the two of you guys.
Send it over.
Yeah. Well,
Send it over.
It might behoove the two of you guys to get together and talk. Maybe I need to help make that happen.
A little bit of you do a little bit of a collaboration. Jason's the middleman. Starzone and ES do some collaboration.
Because we've been talking about it when I had my flattener issue, because they've been talking about doing a more universal field flattener that can make.
But I mean, that's the thing, is it's hard because it's a tool for a product.
Yeah.
And not all tools are meant to be used with everything the exact same.
Yep.
Right.
And it's hard to come with a distinguished or a tool that will work with a wide variety of different things.
But they have
that's an issue.
With their Hyperstar that they've been doing and some of the other stuff, they've gotten a really good relationship with some optics fabricators. So their glass fabrication is phenomenal. And
I'd love to try one of their what do they have? Is it the reducer that they came out with, or was it their flattener?
Reducer.
That they just came out with.
Yeah, the reducer.
I'd love to try one of those things, but it's like.
Yeah.
0.65. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. But I mean, if you want, I can talk to them, do whatever. We can change some ideas around. I can let them borrow some scopes if need. test. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, because it gets both people's names out there, and that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Is to generate some sales if possible, and it gives you guys or them to test out with different equipment.
Yeah, I really wish that they would rep for you guys. Unfortunately, they're not a Explore Scientific approved vendor or reseller. So I bought my scope elsewhere. But
since I've started, I've kind of ruffled feathers, and because we're trying to get in the astrophotography aspect, like if you're wanting to do this full bore, you're gonna have to get into it full bore. You can't just dip a toe in it. There's no toes. You got to go straight in.
You got to go straight into it.
The end of it.
Yep.
You have to go in. You can't just, I'll wait until everything calms down. It's like, no, we're going to be left behind in the dust, and the buses took off.
Yeah.
We're going to be playing catch up forever, and you'll never get caught up. You just never will. So, yeah, if you want to send me some information, then I can pass it along, or I can just be the mediator, and if they need some scopes to try out, I can gladly send them to them.
I think that'd be good. I'll reach out to them after we get through Black Friday because I know they got a couple things going on. But maybe next week I'll reach out to them and see about linking.
Oh yeah, because I got to go into work on Friday with another employee because he needs help, and I can man the store and just do whatever and make some more videos probably as well, like Dan does.
Let me ask you guys a question. Because we're talking a little bit about focal reducers, but let's take it the opposite way. Barlows and power mates. Okay. What are you guys?
So here, I'm going to take it another step further. Barlow, power mate, and focal extender.
Focal extender. Okay. What are your guys' opinions on, I don't necessarily want to use a Barlow, but I want to double my focal length on a refractor. Now, this isn't me asking. This is I've had this question asked me, but I want to get longer focal length on my refractor so I can do more. So I can do some imaging. Maybe a double. What would you recommend to a person if they have a refractor? Would you recommend a power mate, a focal extender, you're mentioning, or Barlow? Or would it just be, you have to work within your limits of what you have right now, and maybe just do some cropping or what have you?
Well, we'll just throw a number out. What's the focal length you talk about mainly?
Well, okay, let's take mine. Okay, I've got a 127, and my 126, and my focal length's at like 980.
Yeah, let's see. The 127 is 952 with a 2x Barlow. 2x Barlow. I mean, again, it depends on the optics. Depends on where you're getting it from. A regular Chinese Barlow, it's going to muddy the image. It's going to completely darken it. You're not going to get the clarity that you want and get more detail that you want. Now, I'm not familiar with power mates, so I don't have a clue. Now, I know with the focal extenders at Explore, there are a lot more multiple lenses within the actual train of the optic. Okay. So you're not the muddiness or the darkening of the image because we're using better optics and better coatings compared to a regular Barlow. Okay. So it's like a 2 or a 3 cell in a Barlow, you're getting 6 or 7 cells in the extender. I always recommend times because I don't understand why you need a 3 or a 5 unless you're doing straight planetary.
Right.
I mean, with a refractor, there's nothing wrong with 2 times. Really nothing wrong. Because if you put a 3 and a 5 times, you are narrowing that field of view to a hell of a lot smaller. And you may not be used to it. And with the 2 times, you're still getting a good wide field of view. Or a decent amount of wide field and not just pucker tight of a field of view. Because if you're doing some planetary imaging and your guiding's a little off, you're going to be chasing things and you're not going to like it. You're going to be frustrated, and you're going to be switching out eyepieces just to try to find the target again and realign it. You throw the 5 times in there, you're off. Yeah. You're just aggravated at that point.
Yeah.
I would recommend just the 2 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you're looking for someone like that, you would recommend if you have a refractor and you want to double that length, consider looking at a focal,
Again,
extender.
I'm always going to push our stuff because I love Explorer stuff.
Sure,
optics.
sure.
I mean, but I don't know anything about a power mate. Maybe Dan will know more because Camera Concepts has a little bit more variety.
Right.
I've never messed with a power mate. I've always heard great things from all of you, but
I'll tell you, I have two power mates. I have a 2x 1.25 inch and a 2.5x 1.25 inch and a 2x 2 inch. And the quality of the image, and as far as there's almost no dimming of anything. I believe it's a 4 element on the 1.25 and a 3 element on the 2 inch, and they're awesome. The quality of the image is great. Now again, you're talking visual, right?
No, we're talking AP.
Okay, well,
Not visual, but
okay. So I've never done AP through a Barlow except planetary.
yeah, and that's same here. But and I was talking to a person over on Messenger, and they were just throwing stuff out there like, if I wanted to do astrophotography, like deep space astrophotography, with a Barlow, can I do it? I'm like, you can.
Theoretically, yes.
Recommend it. Yeah,
It's not recommended.
Recommend it.
It's not
I would
recommended.
recommend it. If you really want to get further in there, because
you need a larger focal length.
You need a larger. You gotta even take a look at a different scope. I wouldn't unless, like to your point, Dan, unless you're doing planetary.
Right.
I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't waste your time.
But see, then
I've
you still
actually done it, and I've actually done it, and I've learned from my mistake and say no.
But then you still got to. Go ahead, Dan.
No, I said that's like eyepiece projection. I mean, it's like a nightmare. Making sure that your camera is shot down that little eyepiece is a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
And whether you're using the iPhones and stuff make it a little bit easier with the iPhone adapters and stuff like that. But if you're trying to do DSLR eyepiece projection with the adapter with the screw, nah, forget it.
Yeah.
You're a hack. Don't try it. Don't try it. You'll like you said, Tyler. You're gonna be frustrated. You're gonna be annoyed. You're gonna take that thing, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna say, "Oh yeah, it's a variable." You know what I do? it's in the garbage.
It's in the garbage.
Yeah. I think I have 2 of them in a box somewhere that's collecting dust somewhere.
Yeah,
I told the person. I told them, you know what? Don't even waste your time. Honestly, I said, if you're doing this for AP, either, to you guys' point, either you're going to look at getting a different scope, maybe like an RC or a Schmidt if you're doing planetary or something like that. I said, don't waste your time.
Yeah. See, I always get that same questions. Like, I want to do planetary. Okay, well, you need this. I want to do visual. I want to look at deep sky objects. Well, you can't do it with this. There's no telescope to do both. I tell them, if you want a middle ground, you can either get a 127, which gives you a sort of long and a sort of short focal length, and that you can do some planetary and some deep sky objects. Can you do it all? No, but it gives you a good middle ground to go somewhere. But as far as for deep sky objects with a Barlow, I mean, you're going to be dealing with seeing 10 times as worse. It's going to be worse.
Yeah, and just the length of time, it's going to be so much slower because your f-stop's going to be so much greater.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm like, I wouldn't do it.
So now what with the refractor, you're running at f14 now or whatever, f12.
Yeah.
Exactly. So now you're just. Now, not only are you dimming your object, no matter if it's a little bit or a lot, now you're taking triple the exposure because you're running so slow at this point. And now you're dealing with, am I tracking to deal with that longer exposure? You're really throwing in, and like what you were saying before, Tyler, about, using different telescopes. Not one telescope does the same thing. And I always use when I'm in the store and I'm dealing with people with the same thing. I always tell people, you know what, I use golf. I play golf. I use golf. I said, I say, you know what? Do you golf? No. Okay, good. You don't play golf? That's great. So if you go to the driving range, what do you bring to the driving range? You going with some friends? What club are you gonna bring to the driving range?
I'm taking a driver.
No, that's exactly not what you want to take, because then I'll tell you
I'm
why.
taking.
Okay, because when you're playing a round of golf on the course and you play 18 holes, how many times are you using that golf club, that driver?
If I'm lucky, maybe twice, maybe.
Okay, so let's say you use it
actually about a dozen times
for every long hole. You would actually, how many times would you actually use that driver? 10 times?
Maybe once. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
How many times are you going to swing a club on the entire course? About 120
Say again,
times?
you kind of broke up. Yeah, give or take.
About 120 swings, right? So why am I going to practice with a club that I only use 8 to 10 times as opposed to the clubs that I'm going to be using 115 times? By the same token, why am I buying a telescope that's only going to be able to image 8 things or 7 things, being the planets? Actually, not even 7, because you think about it, unless if you're doing like Uranus and Pluto and Neptune, which you're not going to see anything. You need like an F14, 14-inch Schmidt at least.
Yep.
You're only imaging 5 planets, maybe 4. So now you're going to spend all this money on a telescope to image 4 things.
But.
Yeah, but I want more. Okay, well, and also, you're not going to be able to fit the Andromeda Galaxy in that telescope. You're not going to be able to do it. You're going to see the core, maybe. You'll see a bright spot. That's it.
You might see the gnat on the core.
Yeah, you got it now. You're a reducer. Now you're reducing it. So why am I buying this native long focal length telescope? I got to put a reducer on it anyway.
Right.
So
that's why.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. I interrupt.
No,
but
I was just saying, different telescopes.
127.
You got something like this, super wide field. You got something like the Mac Cas in the back that's 1,500 millimeters, maybe a little planetary. Yep. I got a 750 millimeter Newt over here for something else. And then I got my 400 millimeter 80 Esprit in the living room that I use for, other stuff. So, there's all a niche for everything. Yeah. But you got to sit there and know what you want to shoot. If you just want to do planetary, fine, do it. Get a C11 or 9 1/4 and you're good. Okay?
Yeah,
it's hard
convincing. It's definitely hard convincing people, especially new beginners. It's like, but I want to see planets. It's like, dude, you can't do everything that you want to do with one scope. You're going to have a hard.
It's almost like when you buy a camera. When you buy a camera, you can only do so much with some of the stock lenses with the 35 or 55. You're going to, eventually you're going to realize, I'm going to have to get like a 70 or a 70-200 zoom, or I'm going to have to buy, something a little bit different. I can keep the camera, but my lenses, I'm going to have to, telescopes are the same way, guys. They're nothing but, they're nothing but humongous lenses.
The best way that I heard it described was at Star Arizona. A guy came in kind of starting down that same path, which I was guilty of at one point in my pursuit as well.
Oh, we all are. Every one of us are.
Oh, yeah.
But a guy came into Star Arizona, and the salesman's sitting there and going through it, and with a smile on his face, he goes, "Sir, have you ever been off-roading?" "Yes." "Would you like to go off-roading in a FJ Cruiser or a high-end Jeep Wrangler? Or would you like to go in a Pinto?"
I want
Pinto.
Pinto.
Oh. Pinto.
I want a
Give me the gremlin. I don't care.
And the guy's like,
Give me a gremlin.
well, what's the difference? I says, well, one's got 14 inches of ground clearance, and the other one's got 4. And about easily 80 grand between the two.
Yeah, one of the best, the older guys that works there, he's like, it's kind of like driving in a Formula One race. You got the guys that have Ferraris that know what the hell they're doing, but it's like taking a beginner. It's like, all right, I want you to go race in a Formula One versus an expert. Getting a $3 million car and beat him. Good luck. Can you do it? No, you're going to crack your pants reaching 150. Guaranteed.
Yep.
No way. And now, we do sell the toy in for the kids, and people always reach for those first. And I'm like, why? Well, it's cheaper. Okay. How much did you spend on your car? Well, about 70 grand. How come you didn't buy the Ford Gremlin? It's a car. I wanted luxury. Oh. So you want luxury? You're going to spend less money on something that you want to actually enjoy. That makes a whole lot of sense. Makes a whole lot.
Yeah. You know what?
Whipping out new iPhones and iPads. It's like, if you want to enjoy the hobby, you're going to have to spend the money. We have a showroom, the Titan, Losmandy Titan, and if you've never seen a Losmandy Titan, it's bigger than me. I'm 6'2" at almost 300. I'm a big guy, and that thing dwarfs me. It is huge, and a 165 sits on top of it. It's like, Jesus. And, I think Douglas Strubel, he uses the 165. Have you ever seen his images? Holy moly, that dude is amazing.
Doug Strubel was the I want to say the first or the second guest in the first iteration of AstroWorld TV, Cosmic Charlie and Destination Dan. He was on with me and Charlie. It was him or TJ Conley was the first guest. I forget which one, but what they were 1 and 2.
Yeah. But no, I mean, now I'm trying to find a good lens for this RA here. I just the money. It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Spending $1,000 on a freaking lens. I just spent $2,000 on this stinking thing.
I can tell you my Space Cat 51.
Because the body of that is what, about $2,500 for the body?
I got a deal on it.
Oh, of course you did.
He knew a guy.
I know a guy. I know a guy.
It's all about who you know.
Yeah.
But it's like, if I spend $150, I'd get a nifty 50 and I'd be happy for a while.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I mean, with the Raptor, I think it's 375 on the native focal length.
Yeah, it's right on there.
I don't need to go any higher. And I've gotten all my wide field that I want until I get my 120, hopefully in December
of next year.
No. Don't you dare.
I still haven't heard any good news on that, man. I keep on hearing February, so I don't know where you're getting December from, but I hope you get it.
Hey,
but,
well, if I get it, I'll just send it to you so you can look at it. Ship it right back.
No, you can send it to me. It's okay. When I get mine, I'll send you mine.
Just send me your 80. Just send me your 80. That's all I care about. Send me the 80.
I love that 80, man. That's a sweet scope, man.
Well, and that's the thing. Like when I was looking to purchase mine, my buddy Mark was trying to get me into the Esprit 100 or 120 because he ended up with the Esprit 120. And as much as I really wanted to do it, I just wanted something a little bit different. And I was really hesitant to go out to that almost 1,000 millimeter focal length.
Yep.
Because to me, it was just a little too close in. And I know I could throw a reducer on, but why spend that type of money to then have to buy a reducer to be able to shoot with it?
Yeah.
But you're right there in Starzona's territory. You could just test one.
I've been trying that. I still haven't been able to test anything with them. The closest I got is I'm a beta tester with ZWO.
You know, I had the
better than nothing.
Yep. It's a start.
I had the 127 Explore Scientific, the Essential Triplet. I had that for a long time. I ended up selling it because I wanted something a little bit more, a little small, a little wider field. But now I'm back, and now, I loved the fact that I could get a little bit of the smaller galaxies with the 127. A little bit of the smaller deep sky objects, like the blue snowball won't look like a little speck anymore. It looks like actually a nebula. And so now I want, okay, you know what? So I said, now I'm back. I want to get the smaller objects, and so I need obviously a bigger focal length. So I got a deal on the 120, and I picked that up, and I'm waiting on that hopefully soon. And I also pulled the trigger on, and what is it? The Asato focuser.
Okay.
Guys, in your money, you're killing me.
What money?
Hey, I don't get a paycheck. All right, so I work at Camera Concepts for store credit.
I don't either. I don't get a paycheck either. My wife does. I don't get a paycheck.
It's like I tell my clients. It's like I tell my clients. My wife makes money in straight time. I get buy toys in overtime.
There you go.
Yep.
If you're not going to give me overtime, I find a new client.
Yep. That's it. So no,
guys,
my thing is that I love my 126, but I really wish, in hindsight 2020, I wish I would have waited a little bit longer and gotten a triplet, gotten the FPO with the FPO 53 glass, because you can definitely tell. Your image quality between a doublet and a triplet.
Oh yeah,
it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, you can tell.
Well,
and
that's part of why I bought my ASCAR 400, because between the quad and the Quint, the image quality, and it's nominal focal distance, but the image quality and speed, it was hands down, and it just beat the snot out of the Red Cat.
Yeah, because if I would have, then I would have gotten like I would have gotten like the William Optics, like it's the Fluorostar 132.
Yep.
Which is it's the same native focal length. It's around 980 or 970, but it's a triplet versus my Zenithstar, which all the Zenithstars are doublets. So just having that extra piece of glass right there in that tube would have made.
But that's part of why I went with the ES102, because it was a triplet. It was roughly at the price point. It was like $100, $150 between it and the 127. I was just hesitant to go to longer focal length, so I backed off and went to the 102. Now I wish I went to the 127 to a little bit more reach.
Yeah.
I mean, you could trade it in.
Yeah. I know a guy now.
I mean, you know a guy. You know a guy.
Mark Owens has a question for you, Tyler. He wants to know what type of focuser are on your Macs.
Do
you have
the
that?
Max?
The Mac Cassegrain, the Macintosh Cassegrains.
Macintosh.
Yeah, the Maxudov Cassegrains. The 127, it's just a regular turn dial. Now the 152 actually has a single speed, but it comes with a 2-inch focus or a 2-inch draw tube or 2 1/4 inch draw tube, so you get a 2-inch diagonal with it. The 127 is just 1 1/4 inch. So if you they're the same focal length. So if you can spend a little bit more money for a bigger aperture, because bigger is always better in this industry, as far as for visuals, get the 152 at 1900 focal length. And we're actually doing a sale this weekend for Black Friday and Cyber Monday
sale.
Black Friday sale. So I mean, if you want one, now would be the time to get one. Not plugging or anything. I'm just
not affiliated with my normal job.
Yeah, it would be the time to get one if you're on the fence about getting one. And the great thing about it is it's a 30-day return. So if you don't like, you get it. You don't like it, you're like, meh. Return, no hassle, no problem. So you're not losing anything. You're just losing your time. That's about it. But you're not you're not going to lose anything. But they're great scope. I actually had one out at a star party on our an alt azimuth, and people just couldn't stop looking at Jupiter and Saturn. But again, you're getting into that narrow view, and you only look at a couple things at a time, because you're looking at the core of an Andromeda. You're not getting any of the wide field that you really want to look at in all the deep sky objects. So it's a double-edged sword. I mean, you got to give and take, because not all scopes can do the same thing. And if there was a scope that did it, then we'd all be out of a job.
That's true.
It'd be the Holy Grail.
That would probably be the most expensive scope you'd buy.
Well, Mark's following up with any plans for a 180, and what type of dovetail plate does it have, a D or a V, on the 152?
The 152, actually, the 152 and the 165, you are able to choose between a dovetail or a D style. Now, the problem with the D style, it's a 4-inch plate.
Yep.
So, a D plate. But, you know, all you gotta do is call a guy, and the guy can help you out and get a 7-inch plate or a 14-inch plate, which would be a lot more helpful with those bigger scopes with balancing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
1-inch weight on a 165 doesn't seem very stable.
Well,
it's what's sitting on the Titan right now, and I can move it with a finger. I mean, it's great, but I prefer the longer dovetail just for the balancing purposes.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and Mark is shooting on the 8R, so he's got a pretty big saddle to grab. So 4 inches is barely going to grab. Maybe
I mean,
one.
he's good at that far aspect. But yeah, I mean, the 152 and the 165, you're able to choose between the D plate or the Lawsman or the dovetail.
Okay.
So.
Well, guys, it's about 10:30 for me. I got to get up in the morning.
I've been trying to say it's time to go for a half an hour. What do you?
Well, so much for a short show, but it's been fun, guys.
I haven't said anything in about 20 minutes. I'm like this. I'm passing out over here.
He's young. Yeah. Dan's over here. He's yawning and stuff. He's getting.
I got to go out and start doing some imaging.
No, it's cloudy.
Yeah, Jay.
But
Jason, just reach out to me. You have my information.
Yeah.
We can figure some stuff out with Star Zoning, and we can go from there. I mean, if they need some stuff, I can send them stuff to mess with and try out. Go from there.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll shoot you my contact info there, Tyler, for the 294. Yeah,
don't forget the camera. You gotta have that camera now.
Oh
yeah, perfect. I mean, and y'all freaking content for this freaking Instagram page. Y'all are killing me. I will drive 6 hours to you, Eric, and thump you. I don't care.
Dude, I thought I sent you something.
Give me some pictures. I'm sitting here taking screenshots of everything. Just give me some pictures.
I'll send you some pictures, brother. I'll send you my M45 and IC59. I'll send you those to you just a few minutes before I get out of here.
Good deal.
I'll send them to you.
Gentlemen, it's been fun.
Over to you. Do you want them over Messenger, or how do you want me to send them to you?
You can send them email or whatever. Just whatever you find easy to do.
It's in our admin chat.
Cool. Yeah, I'll send them to you over via email.
Yeah, that's fine. But gentlemen, it's been fun. I appreciate it. I need to get one of those shirts so I can be part of the crew.
I gotta get the shirt.
But if there's not going to be anything else, I got to go get me some water or a cocktail.
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
Well,
all right, gentlemen, have a great night.
Again, if I haven't said it yet, guys, you guys have a great holiday. Stay safe.
Yeah, have a good
Don't eat too much. Enjoy some ball. Enjoy some football if you want to watch some football or the Macy's Day. I know we have a ritual here. We do the Macy's Day parade. We do the dog show, and then I chill out. I make the turkey, and then I'm watching some football.
Yeah, see, I watch the Macy's parade, and then I watch the Lions lose.
Yeah,
well, it's a tradition.
First in my fantasy football league finally. So, that's it.
I grew up in Detroit, so the only thing you can count on is watching the Lions lose on Thanksgiving.
There you go.
You guys had your heyday. Come on, you had a good run for a while in like 1904.
Yeah.
Barry Sanders was
Until they
around.
pissed off Barry.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, let's go home. Let's go to bed.
Happy Thanksgiving,
We're already
everybody.
home, dude. I was, go to bed.
I'll take it easy.
Have a good night, guys, and
Alrighty.
next week and oh, listen, on Monday the 30th at 11 o'clock New York time, make sure you log on to the Primal Luce website, and that's all I'm going to say.
Are they going to actually have eagles and stuff?
And remember, keep imaging, keep educating, and keep having fun, and we'll see you next week on AstroWorld TV. Have a good night. Clear skies.
Clear skies, everybody.
Night.
See y'all.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye, guys.